Hi everybody, welcome to TVSpy this week. I'm Kevin Eck.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Siegel, and we're sitting down.
We are sitting down this week.
How do you like this? We want to know. Tweet us.
How do you like us now?
Anywho.
Top stories.
Yes.
So the number one top story this week, CeFaan Kim was doing a live shot in the Lower East Side of Manhattan for WLBT, and Majesty the Rapper walked up with a hockey mask on, put his arm around him, and a scuffle ensued.
But we found out how tough CeFaan really is.
We did. He's a former Army Reserve sergeant.
I don't know if anybody saw the video,
yeah,
but I just watched it a couple times for this show. It's no joke. He was not letting that guy in a mask get him.
The director, the WABC director, did an excellent job. He or she must have seen Majesty walk up, put his arm around Kim, and he instantly went to the package.
But
brilliant. I mean, the timing on that and the anticipation for that, that's good directing. And no one at home knew what was going on. They just saw they went to the package.
They didn't need to, because if you did see the video, and then we'll move on to the next story, but we're really fascinated by this. The camera went up, I guess it was either on a tripod or something, but then you see the photographer running out.
Right.
And it was the three of them in a kind of a serious scuffle situation.
There was, and there was a bystander involved too,
yes,
who I thought was wearing like a Teletubbies outfit,
yeah,
but he wasn't. He was just wearing headphones.
I didn't know what was happening either.
Right.
Here's what I will say. When I was in the field, and especially in New York City, when crews, like field crews, went from a truck op and a photographer and a reporter down to what we would call a one-man band. So, you know, like the photographer was running the truck and the camera. Right. That presented a potentially dangerous situation, especially if you're out in the morning, because it's just less manpower there to protect you.
Yeah, if you're a one-man band, it's you facing the camera. You have no idea what's going on behind you.
Nobody's watching your back. In this case, it seems like they were pretty. I'm assuming there must have been a truck up, because the photographer stepped in. Yeah. Number two,
Mike Jerrick.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm having an ongoing digital bromance with Mike Jerrick.
He doesn't know. Bromance on you, Mike. Are you watching this?
Unrequited love. So Mike Jerrick checked himself into a facility down in the Carolinas for treatment of low-grade depression.
Yeah.
He posted about it on Facebook and posted a picture of himself. I asked Fox about it. They weren't commenting. But they did put out something
today,
they
right?
did. Yeah, they put out something today. And
while you're looking for that,
Thank you.
I'm going to say that I want to say that I don't think it's so uncommon for people to be depressed in this industry. I don't think it's talked about. I think that there's still a stigma attached to it.
Right.
But I like that we're having this conversation right now, because good for Mike for being such a public figure and just being open about this.
Yes.
I think this is the best part about the digital space now in this industry, that it makes people more human. So kudos to Mike.
Yes,
but,
exactly. Fox 29 issued a statement that said Mike is a beloved member of the Fox 29 family. We support him in his journey to find peace and wellness. Mike has been missed by his viewers, co-hosts, and co-workers around the newsroom, and we are looking forward to his return soon. So I think that's a nice step by Fox 29, and we wish Mike the best.
We do.
Number 3, farts and toots in Mississippi. So WLBT.
I'm such a child, like farts.
Well, that's why I wrote about it. Because it's like farts and toots. Farts. Yes, WLBT meteorologist Patrick Ellis was doing his forecast on Saturday evening, 6 o'clock news. Kid wanders in. According to what I saw on Facebook, the kid ran in and started to spew childish gibberish.
Right.
Yeah, Ellis thought he'd bring him, focus him a little bit and ask him about the forecast, and the kid said, well, there are farts everywhere and toots.
We've got a little bit of interesting things going on right now. Take a look at what's going on right now. You want to point out the weather right now?
Yeah, there were farts everywhere and toots.
Whatever he wants to say, that was in his forecast.
That was.
But we were laughing because Kevin and I do our pre-show editorial meeting sometimes over the phone, and there have been a number of times, moms out there can identify this, where my 2-year-old has actually pooped on the ground during our calls, and I laugh about it.
I'll just hear sighs or L.
So, for this guy, and one thing we didn't mention was that this was the son of...
It's the son of a lawyer.
Yes.
The station does a lawyer show after the 6 o'clock news, And according to Ellis, having kids run around isn't uncommon because they're the kids of the lawyers from the show.
Yeah.
And so as soon as this kid said farts everywhere and toots, you can see the father come in and grab the kid and pull him off. That's not a station employee. That is the father of the child.
Right.
So everything worked out. But
I know, but I'm just like, let that kid say farts. It was probably the best part of the forecast. And like,
his name was Houston, so I hope Houston did not get into too much trouble. He made us
Houston,
laugh. So.
keep that in your arsenal for when you're older. That's all I'm going to say.
It's the first thing on his reporter reel.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Anyway, that's our top 3.
That is. So last week we told you that Stephanie's company, Real Media Group, formed a partnership with the RTDNA.
Yes, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. It's for new professional members. We are bringing them into our online community to promote good foundational broadcasting practices, to encourage them to network and get good feedback in the digital space so they can propel their careers.
Nice. And this week we had somebody from the RTDNA come in for an interview.
Welcome to our interview segment. Today we have Dan Shelley, who's my fast friend, longtime RTDNA board member, media and digital media and broadcast executive, and also the current RTDNA Foundation treasurer.
Correct.
So many titles, but thank you for being here in New York. You came from Detroit yesterday. I want to start off by saying we at Real Media Group are really excited to be partnering with such an amazing organization, so thank you.
Likewise, as are we. I think the synergy is just perfect.
It is, and for people that don't know, all new professional members get access to our new online community for 4 months, which allows them to push out new digital content, network with people like yourself who've been in the business for decades, but also you're at the forefront of the emergence of what we're calling like the new broadcast industry.
Yep.
In addition to a lot of other things. I won't bore you, but you guys can check it out. So first, let me ask you that question. As a digital media executive now, going to different stations, helping them adjust to the new digital age, what are the biggest challenges for these stations that you see?
The biggest challenges that I see and notice, not just in the newsrooms that I'm in from time to time, but in the industry in general, is that despite the fact that digital has been such a key part of the industry, and when I say industry, I mean particularly electronic media journalism, radio and TV, but it's been part of the culture for a long time, but it's not yet been fully ingrained into most companies' DNA. And I think
they're
that's
still trying to
critical.
figure it out, right? I mean, is that what you're seeing, or is there because you were just saying to me, RTDNA doesn't have a formal recommendation of how newsrooms should move forward in the digital age, but you're seeing maybe something that works.
Well, absolutely right. You have to hire people who have the expertise in digital, but also have a background or a foundation in quality electronic journalism.
Right. What is your recommendation, just from jumping off that question, for young members, young professionals in our community that are part of our partnership who say, oh, I don't feel like posting that today, or are maybe a little hesitant to sharing all of their digital content? That's really key, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely key, because we as journalists, as electronic journalists, no longer have the luxury of being the gatekeepers, of deciding what people get to see and when they get to see it or hear it. It's about delivering your quality journalism on devices that people want to receive it, at a time when of their choosing, when they want to receive it, and in a manner they wish to receive it. Be that Facebook Live, be it via an Instagram post or even a tweet.
Right.
I mean, you've got to be in all those places or you're not going to reach your audience.
And isn't it true that for young people looking for jobs, or even people in the middle of their career looking for jobs, that one especially brilliant social media post or a piece of digital content could propel them to the next market in a way that maybe they wouldn't have expected before, because before it was just the real.
Yeah, just the real. It can't be that anymore. But now it's expected that if you're going into a job interview, or if you're being considered for a position, that you have a very robust and professional social platform.
So as part of the show, we like to give people advice to help out their careers.
Yeah.
And I understand you host something you call Ask a Reporter every 2 weeks?
Yeah, for our community members, they get to have a digital roundtable with reporters from across the country. So this week, with our talks about our new partnership, we wanted to share a couple clips from our past 2 sessions that we thought would help.
Let's take a look.
Hey guys, I'm Fox 4's Alex Boyer here in Dallas, and some of you were asking me how I go about digging for a lead story. Well, it's tough. Today I'm working on a story about gender-neutral bathrooms. It's an issue that has really become a big deal here in Texas, but it's also become a nationwide issue. So the founder of Alamo Drafthouse, the theater behind me, came up with a gender-neutral bathroom plan. He posted that plan on social media really just to get people's feedback. Well, that ignited a firestorm. That post has gone viral. So it's a story that wouldn't necessarily be a lead story, but now as a result of it being a national issue, the gender-neutral bathroom issue, and also the post going viral, well, it's become my lead story for tonight. So you just never know what's going to become a lead story. Always keep your eyes open and your ears open as well.
I got really, really sick a few months ago. I had pneumonia. I was out for like the count. Yeah, and like I couldn't.
I've had it, so it's awful.
Yeah, and like I have asthma, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was trying to get back to work, and like the doctor just said at one point, you know, if you go back to work today, you're gonna end up in the hospital. And so because I was getting pressure to go back to work, and I just called, I just called and said like, listen, I really can't. I'm putting my foot down. I need to have these days off for sick leave. We can discuss what that means later, but that's actually kind of helped just to remind people that you're a person.
How do you make use of your time in the car?
That's a great question. It's tough because you can't text and drive, you can't fire off emails, so you really have to. What I try to do is get all of my emails and phone calls out before I get in the car.
Okay.
If I know there's someplace I have to go. And then that way, while I'm driving, if I'm getting calls back to set things up for later in the day, that's the only thing I really have to worry about. So I do typically start my day when I'm VJing or MMJing at my desk, make sure I know my stories in and out, make sure I know who I would like to potentially talk to and get sound from, and try and get all those ducks in a row before I get in the car.
So to end our show today, since we spoke so much about the digital space, we want you to know that the broadcast medium is still very much alive in Pittsburgh.
Yes, Pittsburgh
according
Post,
to Kevin's story.
Yes, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette has a column, a guy named Rob Owens writes it. People write in with questions that they want to ask the local anchors or
news personalities,
news personalities, yeah. The questions can range from why is your music so loud to where did you go?
And he's like the liaison, right? So they'll write to the newspaper.
Yes.
This guy will ask the stations.
Yes, and the station will respond and he'll put it in the paper. So
it's very
that's
old
great.
School. We like it.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
it's very old fashioned. Like they could just Facebook these personalities, but they don't.
No, it has to be in the paper.
Yeah, so you should check it out. What's it called?
You should.
Tuned
It's
in?
called, it's the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and it's called the Tuned In Journal blog, so we urge you to check it out.
Okay, I wonder if he wrote about my friend Kara Sapita. I should ask her.
We
Who's
should
doing
learn
that. We should.
Let's check it out.
All right, guys, that's it for this week's show.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.